Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. Okay, so in the top stories that we're following right now, I want to let you know that some parents in Atlanta are pretty upset. They want some answers after their kids were evacuated. Let me show you some video from the scene. And where this happened was actually at Cascade Elementary School. And the reason for this, this whole thing happened this morning, was a possible gas leak. Atlanta News First reporter Asia Wilson was at the school on Venetian Drive Southwest, and she has details from Atlanta public school officials.
Well, students who attend Cascade Elementary School were taken to another nearby school as crews worked to repair what appears to be a pipe. This all started when morning crews came to Cascade Elementary School this morning and smelled gas inside. That's according to Atlanta public school officials. Students and staff members were evacuated out of precaution. They were taken to West Manor Elementary School to await the all clear. After getting a voicemail this morning, we spoke to one mom who rushed to Cascade Elementary School looking for her son and nephew. She's now concerned about the school's infrastructure and about what happens next.
It's kind of weird, scary. I got the voicemail, so I need to get them right now. He probably won't be at school tomorrow, just to be safe.
Now we're told Atlanta Fire is still working to locate a possible leak and determine the source. At this hour, there's no timeline on when the issue will be fixed. In Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Asia for that report. I want to let you know a positive update now. Repairs on the water main break on McClendon Drive in Dekalb County have finally been completed. So obviously it's a big relief for residents there, who had lost water or had compromised water pressure really since Monday when this break first happened. Dekalb County Department of Watershed Management telling us crews and contractors finalized those repairs a short time ago. Work to get the water back on in that area had been underway since Monday once again, but a big relief for people who live and work in that area. Also want to let you know about a protest among taxi cab drivers who are not happy with a proposal by the city that they say is really going to impact the way that they run their businesses, the way that they do their jobs. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford was at City Hall with more on this.
Negotiations on these changes have been ongoing for almost 3 years now. The city says that these changes are aimed to help taxi cab drivers compete with ride shares. But taxi cab drivers who showed up here today aren't on board.
I want to talk a little bit about Checker Cab.
Dozens of taxi drivers showed up to the City of Atlanta's Transportation Committee meeting to have their voices heard.
The change they're proposing there will not add value to our industry. Rather, as a matter of fact, will complicate things for us.
No, we do not want it. Do not accept it.
The drivers opposing a proposal making its way through council that would make changes to how taxi cabs operate in the city.
There's so much competition in the market when it comes to the ride share.
The legislation authored by Councilmember Byron Amos would change the required color of taxis, remove the overhead light and meter for a digital system. Efforts to help them keep up with the popularity of ride shares.
We don't want to be like Uber because they say level the playing field. No, we can't be like Uber. Uber spent millions of dollars to set up their system. The City of Atlanta is not ready to spend money.
Taxi drivers at Wednesday's meeting feel the changes will hinder business, not help.
The other companies fluctuate in their prices. Our price stays the same with the meter.
Concerns the city says are being taken into consideration.
I understand the concern about it, especially from the drivers, the ones that are actually on the front line. So we're actually going to take some time and work through it, make sure we have everyone at the table before we move it forward.
The city officials say today's meeting was just another open forum for discussion. City leaders say it will be held in committee until an agreement is made between both parties. At Atlanta City Hall, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Brittany for that report. Also making headlines today, a representative from the White House has been in Dekalb County touring a hospital that got renovations, all thanks to federal funding. Rebecca Schramm has a closer look at that story.
You know the saying, when one door closes, another one opens? That's essentially what happened at this hospital in South Dekalb County.
Grand finale. Nice smiles, that's good.
Sitting front and center, Tom Perez, who's a senior advisor to President Joe Biden and the White House Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, joined state and local leaders for a photo after getting a tour of improvements to Emory Hilldale Hospital. The $11 million that funded the improvements came from the federal pandemic-era American Rescue Plan Act.
We understand that you know what is best in your communities. And with those dollars, you can use them in a catalytic manner to transform healthcare. That's what you have done here.
18 months ago, this hospital had to step up after Wellstar closed its downtown Atlanta hospital, Atlanta Medical Center.
When Wellstar closed, it was a traumatic moment that precipitated a major healthcare delivery crisis throughout Metro Atlanta. We didn't just curse the darkness. What we did was we lit a candle of hope.
The funding was used to expand Emory Hilldale's emergency department, to renovate its intensive care units, and to replace its CT scanner, which had fallen into disrepair.
You should feel comfortable in getting your primary elective procedures, medical procedures done right here in your own community. You don't have to go anywhere else. You can come right here.
DeKalb County leaders also invested $1 million of that COVID funding to a hospital-based violence prevention program. In Stonecrest, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Rebecca Schramm for that report. Okay, let's talk about a really hotly contested issue about housing in Atlanta. So people who used to live at a condemned Atlanta apartment complex are really furious. They had to relocate. Atlanta News First reporter Bridget Spencer spoke to some of them during a city council meeting just last night, and she learned some feel that they would have actually been better off just staying where they were.
We haven't been dealing with nothing but stress and trauma.
Madrika Gray lived at the now partially demolished Forest Cove apartments for 20 years. The property was plagued with crime, mold, and fires until it was finally shut down by the city in 2022, and tenants were given vouchers to go elsewhere.
They gave us these vouchers with no support.
Gray says she was relocated to Lithonia, more than 20 miles away from her job, her support system, and public transportation.
I was moved from 9 minutes from my job to 49 minutes without traffic. My vehicle broke down like right after the relocation, so I ended up losing my job.
She came along with several former Forest Cove residents to an Atlanta Community Development and Human Services Committee meeting.
They just want us to fend for ourselves. They're making it hard for us to come back to the city of Atlanta because a lot of people are not accepting those vouchers.
One person said where they were placed was even more crime-ridden.
I have not had hot water in 3 weeks. How can me and my kids live like this?
Councilman Jason Winston says the city is on their side, but their hands are a bit tied when it comes to HUD vouchers.
We passed a resolution that prioritizes what we can from a legal standpoint and bringing residents back to the Thomasville Heights community. So we've got an RFQ out right now for developers to bring ideas on how we can revitalize that community, and we're pushing forward on that. We're fast tracking it.
But residents say they feel they've been blacklisted and are hoping for better days ahead.
It was publicly known that we were displaced, so that already set the stigma out there like, oh, them trashy folk finna move, no.
Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
And of course, that's a story we're going to continue to follow here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. You can get the latest updates on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, or by downloading our free Atlanta News First app. That way you can actually get alerts on breaking news and full first alert weather. It's especially helpful when there's severe weather happening in your community. But again, that is free to download in your Apple and Google Play stores. Thanks so much for being with us.